welcome to Testing the Grass. In this video you will name your new texture layer, you'll turn back on the camera and lighting, and the grass layer as well. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is actually get rid of the node editor for the moment because it's taking up a vast proportion of my screen. So I've just got the 3D view on here. And I'm on layer 5 at the moment, looking down here on the header bar, and I want to bring back my tool shelf. I'm going to hide my properties panel. I'm going to go to my layers tab, which we added on earlier, and let's have a look at what we need. So I'm going to name this textures, or even more precisely grass textures, and it's on. It's got a green tick next to it. Brilliant. Let's do the camera and lighting to turn that on, and the grass as well. Brilliant. So now we've got all of those things on. You never guess what. Okay guys, it's challenge time. I'd like you to test render the grass. So rotate your grass around its origin so it's pointing towards the sky, the way the grass naturally grows, and group the blades close together, so at the moment they're quite spread out, and spread them out a little on the X and Y axis to give them some depth. Then finally do a test render and see how it looks. It won't be amazing at this stage. Oh, and remember to set up a camera as well. So pause the video now and give that a go. Okay guys, welcome back. Let's go and render out this grass and see how it's looking. Okay guys, welcome back into Blender. What we need to do first of all is grab some of these blades of grass and make sure, I moved one about earlier, I think it was this one. If you've done that as well, you will want to make sure, let's get rid of the tool shelf, that the Z coordinate is 0. Because we moved our origins earlier, but didn't do. I moved that one about anyway, so I need to rotate it around, and at the moment the best way to rotate it around is on the X-axis. So I'm simply in the tool shelf here going to go X90, and I'm going to do that to everything else as well. So X there, 90. Oh, I selected the plane itself. Let's just try selecting the right thing. 90. Okay. I've picked the wrong thing, and that one's not, I've not moved the origin for that one yet, so we'll go back and do that one last. Let's change this one, X90, and the final one in the distance, I nailed it there, brilliant. So those are all there. Let's go into this image here and move the origin. So I'm going to pull it out of the ground initially so I can see what's going on. That there is the bottom. Let's make sure it's right at the bottom. On the tool shelf I'm going to go Tools, Set Origin to the 3D cursor. Brilliant. So that's now done. I'm going to get rid of the tool shelf. I'm going to lower the origin, essentially that's what we're moving here, down to 0 and rotate it on the X-axis by, not moving there, rotated by 90. Okay, so we've got our blades of grass here and I want to render them out. So the first thing I'm going to do is put them a bit closer to one another, and I'm going to be a bit adventurous and scale this one up even more, and that one can stay the same size as well. I'm going to put them, well, I'm going to scale it up just a little. I'm going to put them rather close to one another so we can see how they're going to render. In fact, I'm going to give them a bit of depth both ways as well, just to make it a little bit more exciting, although it's not going to be a great render anyway at this stage. Now I'm going to have to set up a camera. I'm pretty sure that none of them at the moment are looking at what I want to look at, so I'm going to grab the camera I set up earlier to do exactly that, which was the iCam. It is the current camera, I believe, but if not, we'll just make sure it is. So I'm going to set the active object as the camera, and on the properties pane here I'm going to lock the camera to view so I can move it about. Now this is looking like it's got a silly amount of zoom on it, I'm not sure. Oh no, it's because I'm zoomed all the way out here. Now if I lock, that should be a bit easier to control. I'm going to make my view bigger. As normal, you probably won't have to do this. I'm just doing it because I can't see what's going on otherwise. And let's zoom in here to position the camera, come back out again, see how it looks when we've got rendered mode on, and we can see some shadows coming off there. Now something is incredibly bright in our scene, and it's probably one of the lights, so let's go and see how that's turning out. It's really, really bright. I've got my lamp here, my sun lamp, set up to an intensity of 11. Let's lower that back down. That's much better. And we can move round. Now obviously, because they're a flat image, if we go side on, that's not going to be a very exciting render. But let's go to about there, try and get everything in shot. Excellent. I'm going to go to my render tab here and just make sure my settings are set up. I'm happy with 50% of 1080p on the dimensions. Let's scroll down and look at the samples. Now my render is set at 100. That's going to be a bit too high for a test render, so I'm going to lower it down to 25. In fact, that might be too high later on when our scene gets more complicated. And let's scroll down a little further. And yep, I've got my tile size optimal because I'm using my CPU. Let's just make sure that the world, for some reason, I have lost. Yes, I've lost my skybox that we created earlier, so I'm just going to add that in really quick. So environment texture there, a lovely pink environment at the moment. I'm going to use a mirror ball, and I'm going to go ahead and open up. It's one of these angular maps that I was using previously. I think it was the one with the sun, Angular Map 12. I'm going to open that image. That looks much better. In fact, we can then have some sky in it as well. Perfect. How did you guys get on? I'm going to render my image out now, and I'm going to post mine in the discussions because that looks like some pretty good grass in a wasteland of white. We'll need to sort that out. Post your grass in the discussions, and I will see you guys in the next lecture.